Hello friends and enemies, it's me Isabel here with the thing I said I wasn't doing this month, but so much happened in the span of the last 2 days that I was like, well, let's make it happen. We're gonna make this happen, and here we are with Romancelandia Monthly. I figured we're better off closing the year out with all the drama wrapped up as much as possible. Not that all of this is actually drama, like a lot of this is valid things happening and criticisms, and you know, I've got some good news to mix in with the bad news this time, so that's nice. Like, I think that's refreshing. For once there's some good news. So we're gonna start with the thing I missed last Romancelandia, or happened right afterwards. I'm not sure on the timing exactly, but it was very like close. I either just filmed it and it was going up and I couldn't add it, something like that. But we have a couple plagiarism situations that have happened since last month's Romancelandia. First up, Neva Alta. I do not know how to say this last name, and I'm sorry, I cannot find a pronunciation for it anywhere. So she plagiarized Veronica Lancet, who did post on her Instagram and on Facebook about the plagiarisms with direct comparisons, and it's pretty wild. This is a series that I've seen all over my page personally, and you know, it's just alarming. So the evidence I will have linked below for you, but we have a comparison of side-by-side sentences that appear to, and plot points that like match perfectly to Veronica's book. Just an FYI, this is a series, again, I have seen all over my Goodreads and stuff lately, and I know it's popular, but it appears that book. So Neva plagiarized Morally Ambiguous. I will put the cover up here, from Veronica, which is like an 800-page book that came out in June 2021. The book by Neva with the plagiarism is Hidden Truths, part of the Painted Scars series, and she specifically plagiarized from Veronica's book Morally Ambiguous, and there was some crossover on ARC readers and things between the two authors apparently, and people who were perhaps sharing things they shouldn't have been. We aren't really sure. That's a lot of information that we don't have, like, as a person from the outside looking in on this. So proceed with caution. Again, it's a very popular series. I don't know that book 1 has plagiarism in it, but it does appear that book 3 at the very least does. So there's that. Next, for a little like snippet of good news, like we need some good. It is that time of year. We need some good news. Kirkus announced and shared that Stacy Reid's Sinful Wallflower series is being adapted into a TV show, so I'm really excited for this. I haven't read Stacy Reid yet, and I really need to, and I've only heard good things about her book, so I'm really excited to see this happening, and I'm hoping we continue to see some other authors of color get their books picked up for adaptation, because like, it would be great. Like, I want more than just Bridgerton on screen, you know, and not just like Passion Flicks adaptations. I mean, like, I want like big budget one. There's that. That's a good news. And then we're just gonna swing right back through some bad news. Next, we have the Indie Romance Awards. So this was a Instagram Discord based award thing that was put together by 2 creators to highlight indie romances. I did a live show with May over at This Past Romance on my channel. We were gonna vote, and then like a whole bunch of stuff happened. So then instead we talked about what happened. So there's a live show where I talk about it. And here I'm just going to give the quickest rundown of what happened and just kind of gloss through it, because it's a lot and I don't really want to unpack it all yet again, but I'll highlight where the issues were. So first up, the awards were announced, nominees went up, and books that weren't indie from really dangerously problematic authors, like authors with very, really dangerous beliefs and stances, were on the list, and people were upset. People were responding with criticism and critique and asking like, who picked these books? Where did this come from? And it was publicly nominated. So like, again, when things are nominated via the public, this happens. I do think something they should have done, and what I would do in that situation, is I don't think I would have posted the winners as soon as they did. Like, I feel like they closed voting and within like a day turned around and were up with winners. This idea was born in their Discord group apparently, and then blew up into a bigger thing, which now here we are, and it's no more. So there was a lot of criticism. They were very defensive to the critiques at first, but also like saying that they're willing to hear the criticisms, which again, when you do things like this, I don't know, I've been around in Romancelandia for a long time. I just expect criticism to anything and everything, and that's just the automatic response. Whether that's right or wrong, I think, you know, this is just a thing that happens, and you should be expecting it to happen versus expecting it all to go smoothly. I also just think it would have taken 2 seconds to find someone who could help, or a couple people who could help them vet authors to make sure they weren't promoting problematic authors and make sure they weren't promoting authors with really dangerous beliefs, including like transphobia and just other general things. The other big criticism I saw was that they opened the award, since it was the first year, to all previously indie books. So indie books like by L. Kennedy that have now been picked up by publishers like like Bloom Books, were eligible to be nominated. It felt to me personally as a reader, I feel like that's too big a window, that's too broad of an entry. So it just kind of felt like, you know, of course these books are going to win. They are the most popular. They are the ones you see at a table. If anyone's going to pick, if they don't know something, they're going to pick one of the ones that they see at the table on Barnes & Noble or at their indie bookstore, wherever they go. So yeah, so they were defensive, kind of did that, removed, they were pretty quick to correct issues with books that weren't indie and removing problematic authors. And then finally, that day when I did the live show where May and I were going to vote, they had just pulled the entire thing down. They said no more, they apologized, and it's gone. There's like pretty much no trace of it because it barely lived on the internet. Like I couldn't even pull up their website on the Wayback Machine, so, and I tried. So there's that. Next, we have we're gonna call this not bad news and not good news, but a how to respond to criticism news. I'm not gonna put the video here from TikTok. I'll link to it if you want, but like, again, this is something I'm gonna say. You need to approach this with an open mind, because I feel often that non-Jewish people do not understand how deep and how far anti-Semitism goes. And I personally have been on a big journey where I'm learning a lot about it via a lot of my friends who are Jewish and via just learning more about where a lot of things source to. So there was a post on Instagram from Shoshana where she's been doing these breakdowns of different tropes and tropes, themes type things in romances in different books and how they relate back to Judaism. And it's been really fascinating, really great reads. I will link to those down below. She specifically did one in November about anti-Semitism, and I shared that post on my Instagram and called out how uncomfortable I was with Haunting Adeline being based on QAnon conspiracies and things that are dangerously rooted in a very, very deep belief that all comes back down to anti-Semitism, and it is dangerous, very dangerous ideology, and I was very uncomfortable with it. And, you know, the more I've learned about the roots of these conspiracies, I will link a video down below also on TikTok that has someone who does conspiracy research who breaks down why every single conspiracy theory pretty much is anti-Semitic. It's wild. It is absolutely wild how deep that goes. But Shoshana then made a TikTok where she talked about the issue and how disappointed she was in the fact that no one has really talked about it. And like, I've mentioned it, but again, I'm one of the only people I know who has called out any issues within Haunting Adeline. And I'm not talking about like people calling out like rape or whatever issues in this book. I'm talking about like, I specifically was like, I am deeply uncomfortable with how this book ends and what things were used in this book. But I pretty much had seen maybe one other person talk about it after I did. That's it. I have not seen a lick of anybody talking about this damn thing. And it's really disappointing because I know that conspiracies can seem fun and interesting. And I personally am someone who likes to learn about what the current conspiracies are and what people are listening to and believing, but only because then I am able to combat them and speak up when I see them. I think it's a big part of learning and continuing to grow and being able to like not understand, but at least see the roots of where someone's thought process is coming from. So Shoshana made a post. She called out the anti-Semitism in Haunting Adeline. H.D. Carlton, listen, if you're watching this, if you ever see this, I'm proud of you. This is a lesson in how to, 1, stop and listen to criticism, 2, respond to the criticism appropriately, and 3, fix it. Because it's valid to say, I didn't know. Because we don't all know everything. And the journey of being better as a human and learning new things as a human involves us making mistakes. No one is going to be perfect every time. We all are going to mess up. We all are going to misstep. But to be able to stop and say, I messed up and I'm going to fix this is huge. So HD and Shoshana had like a conversation, and she is fixing the anti-Semitism in Haunting Adeline. And I'm thrilled about this. I'm going to post her TikTok for y'all to listen to right here from HD Carlton, and I will have links to Shoshana's stuff down below for you.
Hi everyone. So excuse my voice or if I have to pause to cough, I'm still sick. But I wanted to come on here and address everything that's going on with Haunting Adeline and the anti-Semitic content and the harm that I've brought to the Jewish community. I was just made aware of it yesterday. I did reach out to one of the creators of one of the videos, and we will be having a further discussion and even a sensitivity read very soon. I also reached out to other people from the Jewish community to get insight on what's happening and what I did wrong. And the only conclusion to come to was that I fucked up. I caused harm to the community. I potentially put them in danger. And for that, I am so very sorry. And while it was not intentional at all, it doesn't erase the impact that it had and the potential danger that it could have put the community in. So what it comes down to was ignorance and lack of research. It wasn't something that I knew to research. I wasn't aware of blood libels or the conspiracy theories that still cause harm to the Jewish community, but it's something I take full accountability for. I have since done research, of course, and after the discussions with a few people, I was able to figure out exactly what the anti-Semitic content was and what was causing harm. So I changed names, character description, and most importantly, the implications that the rituals were rooted in anti-Semitism and blood libels. They were intended to be satanic rituals, so I went through and made that more clear and erased the Jewish coding that it was made aware of. And again, it will be going through a sensitivity read on top of it to make sure that there's nothing I missed, that, there wasn't any further implications or Jewish coding. With the holidays coming up, that may take a minute, but I at least wanted to implement the bigger changes that I was made aware of, just because I didn't want that content being put out in the world any further. So I did make the changes to Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And then I will make further changes on top of it when it goes through its sensitivity reads. I did already reach out to the production company for the audiobooks. That will be getting changed as well. Again, with the holidays right around the corner, it may take a minute, but it is in the process. I did send the changes to the production company that I have, and then we'll send further changes after my sensitivity reads. The website exclusives will be updated, of course, and I do have over 300 copies of books that was intended for the restock that I'm not entirely sure what to do with yet, but I was considering putting them up for sale and then donating all of the profits to a Jewish charity or organization. I'm not sure if that's the proper route, but regardless, I have no intentions to profit from the books. Lastly, I want to make very clear that this apology is only for the Jewish community and ask that nobody accept the apology on their behalf or invalidate their feelings. I will be deleting comments. I do appreciate all of your time. Thank you for listening.
Class, way to respond. Seriously, I was thrilled. Just thoroughly impressed. Not something we get enough of. It actually almost makes me want to pick up the second book in Haunting Adeline at some point, even though I really did not enjoy book one for a lot of reasons. But I also wonder if I would enjoy it more if those things were fixed, because those really tanked the book for me big time. Anyways, we're gonna keep on pushing on because we got more stuff. It's never ending. It is never ending. I swear it feels that way, but we do only have 2 more things, but we got more plagiarism. So I actually had this come on my radar like a couple months ago because April over at the Renegade Box was posting some posts about how someone was stealing from Tiffany Roberts and like some exclusive art things that they had done for these spider books. The Ensnared, I think. I don't remember what they're called. So she was posting vaguely about this. And then I got a TikTok of the author who's involved in this called Melissa Blincoe. I'm gonna assume she had made posts that saying that she's being harassed by fans of Tiffany Roberts' books, being told that she stole them, like stole the plots and was like plagiarizing them and all these things. And I was like, this is interesting. Man, we're gonna keep it like on our radar. Until the other day when Tiffany Roberts literally posted straight to Facebook and Instagram, and they made a TikTok recently too, talking about the situation and revealing messages between them and Melissa. Yeah, so she had asked them about who did the cover for their book Bound. Told them like, oh, this is who, but like they're not taking new submissions right now. And then they saw the cover for the book Heartthrob, which I'll throw up here with the very similar covers. Blincoe, Melissa accused Tiffany Roberts of basically acting like they own spiders, which I've never seen. I literally, like, when I first got sent this stuff, I was like digging around trying to find where anybody was posting to anybody, and there's nothing. So I was like, this is fishy. So Melissa basically says that Tiffany and them try to act like they own the spider stuff, and they were like, no, we don't. Like, there's another author that has a spider shifter cyborgs, and then inspiration from some character art they'd seen and other things, you know, and they also mention other authors who have spider heroes that they happily support, and that anyone can write it. But they did have readers confused about Heartthrob if that was also part of their series, because the book cover was so similar. But again, they have never until recently spoken out against Melissa, because I think they were kind of a just like let it sit and ride and like not bring attention to it, which I think is valid. Sometimes it's not worth bringing attention to things. So Melissa approached the same narrator that Tiffany Roberts uses, and then continued to make vague TikToks, which I did see, where she was claiming that she was being threatened. Again, though, I never could find anywhere in comments or anything where Melissa was directly being attacked about her books. So again, it could have been happening in DMs. I don't know, but it's really weird. The takeaway here is that Melissa perhaps plagiarized at least art/copied art styles for her spider books, and maybe plagiarized some of the book's contents. So I'm gonna overlay some of the art here for y'all to see, but like it is very, very similar, and it's kind of weird how similar, like we're looking at similar fonts, if not same fonts, color schemes. Melissa also then went back and like badly reviewed some of their books to make claims about it. Yeah, they also shared exact posts of Melissa reaching out to similar people that they use for art. Again, it's not that you can't use the same people. It's just really weird to directly copy it. I don't know. I'm really weirded out by all of this, to be honest with you. And I just think it's a really strange turn of events to go from like vaguely saying that you're being like bullied to being outed as like, oh no, you actually like did some shit. So she did some shit, I feel like. And I want to say that I feel like the fact that Melissa has now removed Heartthrob and her spider series completely from Amazon and unpublished it speaks volumes as to who perhaps the guilty party in this really is. Do I think people were bullying her? Potentially. I don't put it past them. People do shit like that all the freaking time online. But I do think it's really weird that we haven't seen like mass screenshot sharing of the bullying prior to this, at least that I've seen. And I feel like that would be an answer. Or again, going to the author and being like, hey, some of your readers are attacking me, and handling it that way, like, could have also been an option. But instead we just made weird claims. It's a weird time. So this happened. I really think the way that Tiffany Roberts and her husband are handling it, they're like a writing duo team, is really admirable as well. They basically posted on TikTok recently, were like, do not bully her, do not do any of that. We don't condone that. That's not what we're doing here. We just finally hit the point where we had to air our grievances and tell you what was happening on our front before, you know, things kept going, which is fair. All right, the last bit of news. This is kind of sad, I guess. I don't know how I feel about this. I just think I'm surprised. I think I'm surprised. That's the biggest takeaway I have right now. So this just came out today, the day I'm filming this. This video goes up in like 2 days. So the Bookworm Box is closing. The Bookworm Box, which is run by Colleen Hoover and her sisters, is a charity book box. All the money goes to charity, which is really cool of them. Like, it's a neat thing that she does, I guess. That's closing down February 2023 due to supply chain issues and stuff. And they've just hit a point where they're done with it, I guess, which is fine. I get it. They're probably overwhelmed, overworked. But there's also a bookstore that exists in Texas. I do not know where in Texas, y'all. That is the Bookworm Box Bookstore. That also sells donated books that are signed by authors. That bookstore is closing tentatively in summer 2023. I think they want to like allow people time to travel and come see it before it closes. I just found this interesting because, like I said, this has been a big point of Colleen Hoover's book career so far. She's owned / been part owner of the Bookworm Box for a long time. That's been her big charity of choice for a long time. She is instead now moving her charity work to the Book Bonanza stuff. So like Book Bonanza ticket prices are, I think profits go to charity if I remember right. And then also she does the Book Bonanza auction, and everything for the Book Bonanza auction goes to charity as well. So that's happening. I just think it's interesting. Just want to give a heads up to anybody who wanted to go to the bookstore and maybe is not that far away, or again, just missed the news, because they basically just posted it on an Instagram story and on a Facebook post. That's it. But yeah, that's what's happening. That's it. This is the last Romancelandia for 2022. If I missed anything or you think I missed something, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll chat about it there. And if you don't want to do that, or you don't have any comments on what happened this month, it's just a lot of stuff. You can leave me a like fireworks, sparkly kind of emoji, because we are celebrating the end of 2022, y'all. I'm hoping, beyond all hope, that we are leaving some of this behind in 2022, because I would love for things to just not be like this in 2023, but I have a feeling it's only gonna get worse from here, but that's fine. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, do that in the comments. I will have links to everything I can link to down there for you, as well as links to my friend anywhere on the internet, and I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away.